This is his invention.
This is
so
our
you
invention.
understand.
This is our, so there's a problem, man. You would know that we've always brought in kitchen units with what I call fins. So that's these extra bits of wood that go beyond the backboard that create our service for wood. So all of your pipes that come out of your cookers and stuff like that, we hide all of that down the back. You have the copper, you have the waste. That's all mounted on the wall as you walk into a kitchen to fit a kitchen. But you've given us nice machined edges. Look at something like that. And those nice machined edges don't fit around the pipes in the kitchen. So what we have to do is take a nice big jigsaw or a multi-tool and hack your brand new kitchen, it's 250 quid a unit, and tear the back.
We used to call it the scribe, didn't we?
We used to call it scribing.
Scribe. We used to allow the scribe on the back.
Yep.
Skirting's always used to present the problem.
Skirtings, anything.
Okay.
So whatever happens, usually when you walk into a kitchen, a lot of the units you can't just stand against the wall. Even if you can stand them against the wall, you're talking about a plastered finish with a machined edge. So they never really match up.
Yeah, what depth are you talking about?
So whichever depth the manufacturer is, this one is 50 mil, some are up to 65 mil, so this one is a 65 mil scrap, if you like, or it will be scrap, just slightly bigger than that one. But we could take that off of every single kitchen unit, which is what I've been saying for a number of years. You could drill through the back there and just put one screw through to the wall. So if you need to move it left or right, you've only got one screw and you're not tied to putting L brackets in like we used to on the skew over the top of this back panel. Look rubbish. There's no adjustment, there's no finish. So I came up with that. I've sold about 7 million of them.
I saw.
They come with Wren kitchens. Yeah, Wren
Across the
have
range.
been with us for 7 years. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they've really supported us as a brand the whole way through. And
So it
they're
doesn't
fantastic.
Or
Yes, this is patented.
So it does away with the excess
No,
end.
this doesn't. This doesn't. What Wren do is they leave this excess end and just supply one of these, what we call in the box. So you're just giving a better fixing. That's what that is, a better fixing.
better fixing in
Yeah,
what
To the
way?
wall.
To the wall, getting rid of all these L brackets that you end up access ports and screws, and there's no adjustment, there's no play.
That's your fixing method.
That's your fixing method. What does rid of this is just 2 bacon pegs. So instead of giving 50 mil by 720 mil of material, now you've got to do is give them 2 of those. Because so now the manufacturer can make a completely flat back unit, just get rid of those fins completely, and all they do on site as they put the legs on is put those in the little holes. And when you offer that up to the wall, skirting's not a problem, pipe work isn't a problem, I haven't had to scribe around any pipes, and the manufacturer has just saved 720 by 50 times 2, which is about 50 pence of material.
Sorry, you're saying you'd use that?
Instead of your end panel.
No, instead
That's
of
your face.
these fins. No, instead of these
Instead of your
fins.
extended end panel.
Yeah, instead of
So
your
you would
extended end
typically scribe your end panel.
Exactly. You see, that's gonna hit the skirting there. So already you've seen the unit in that design is already fitting easier than this.
Yeah, it's quicker as well,
It's
isn't it?
quicker. Yeah, it's about 500% quicker. It's cheaper. It saves material. It gives manufacturers the ability to say a new, more sustainable base unit design, and it gives manufacturers the opportunity to say new fast fit technology included.
What gave you the idea to invent it?
Well, as I say, we called it evolution fundamentally because it has evolved.
What was your
So
what was your
I
drive?
was initially a Howden's customer that thought it was ridiculous, these tiny little L brackets, that with all of this technology and all of this sale and all of this fantastic thing, this little bit at the back had just been completely ignored. So I came up with Space Plug in my head about 30 years ago now. I carried it for 20 odd years and then went, do you know what, I'm getting old, my knees are packing up, I want to get my teeth into something else. I've got this business degree, I want to do something more. So that's when the story that's put us together, I borrowed 3 grand from Dad and
Wow.
went and got a patent on it. And that was 10 years and 7 million units ago.
Wow.
But at the time, as soon as we had the better fixing, we were able to say, why don't you take these bits of timber off? The problem if you just take these bits of timber off is the big box guys, it's much more difficult. You need a tape measure, you need help, you need more instructions. It's going to complicate the whole thing for the fitter. So we always knew that was only ever going to work for those that made and installed their own units, because they had an understanding. It was going to be difficult for the big boxes and the sheds to get that across to their customers. But just had a brainwave literally on a Howden's trade day. I think it was year before last, and just we were working out different ways of how you could cut the pieces off and leave a bit, and it's just like, no, all you need is a stick. I've literally invented a stick. If you just put a stick in the back of the side panel, it replaces the bit of wood that you've cut off and puts you in exactly the same place as you'd always been.
And tidier.
And tidier.
There's a material saving with it though, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. So
significant per unit.
Significant. Yeah, we're
taking out.
Our ambition, we've worked out, basically in the UK we sell roughly, I think, 1 million kitchens, something between 800,000 and 1 million kitchens a year. Roughly 10 cabinets, base cabinets per kitchen.
Is it 2 per cabinet?
Yeah, 2 of these little bits per cabinet. So you're really kind of saying there's potentially almost 1 million square metres in just these fins, if every single manufacturer went over. And so our ambition is going to be to save 1 million.
You're saving 50 mil width.
Yeah, by
720 height,
yeah.
plus
times 2,
plus the labour and energy and resource in trimming that
Absolutely.
on site, which must be, what would the labour cost? What would the labour time be to trim a panel?
It only takes you a couple of minutes, but I think the cost is. Excuse me, Neil. Can I just show you that? I think that's the real cost. The real cost is that you're just paying anything for these from 80 quid through to 200, 300, 400 pounds each now, depending on where you're shopping, and you want your installer to do that to the back edge of your kitchen unit. Now, there is often a caveat in people's guarantees that you're not allowed to even modify a kitchen, so it's actually kind of been against the grain for all these years anyway.
Really interesting. It's a better finish.
Yeah, that is better than that. By any stretch of the imagination. It's easier to fit, it's faster to fit, it's neater to fit, it's more professional to fit, it's more adjustable to fit. So we call it a datum peg. And the reason I'm calling it a datum peg is because when you save that bit of material in the manufacturing, our datum as carpenters is the depth of the unit. So the depth of most units is 575 mil. So if you've saved 50 mil off the back, you still want to know what 575 mil is to fit. So that's what gives you your datum, your starting point. These might not even touch the wall by the end of the fit. It's the space plug that's actually going to tie it to the wall and give it its final finish.
Yes, so you then
literally just
what's going to give it its
that.
Oh, sorry.
So that would then secure it
Screw through
to the wall, and that's your securing these.
Yeah.
Instead of an angle bracket.
Instead of an angle bracket. Yeah.
What's the patent for?
The patent is an adjustable fixing, adjustable spacer fixing for that. And this, the application is to combine an adjustable spacer fixing with a fixed base spacer, but which we actually call it a measuring stick. So that's why we're saying it's not really a fixed base spacer, is because this, the wall might be running out, or your units might be doing something different, or your wall might be uneven. So that might come in at that sort of angle. You know, that one's hanging in the air and this one's touching. But fundamentally, because of the adjustment in the space plug, when you do your final
doesn't
fit,
matter.
Doesn't matter.
But when you're scribing, it does.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just 100% no-brainer.
Yeah.
And we just need some support to get it going.
Yeah, I get it. Do you get it?
About,
Yeah, I get it. Really interesting. So
It's a really
yeah, really
simple.
interesting.
That's been around for 10 years, that's a space plug.
Okay.
And what that principally does is replace all our little L bracket profanity that's at the back of a unit.
Yeah.
So usually we'd have an L bracket there, an L bracket there.
Just, you know, an L bracket, the steel L
Yeah.
that you screw for.
Yeah, got it.
So it's the fixing bracket. From the cabinet to the wall is an L.
Fine.
Get me?
Yep.
So that we have to put 2 of them in, we've got 2 screws, we've got 2 raw plugs, we've got 2 fixings, and we can't move it at all.
Okay.
With this I've been selling for about 10 years, quite successfully, and we can just put one of them in, drill straight through the wall, make your hole, put your raw plug in, thread your screw, unwind it till it fits.
So Ren put one in each kitchen, Ren.
So Ren
Ren.
at the moment. I've sold about 7 million of these. So at the minute,
Ren do one per kitchen.
that can then move left or right if you want. So say there's a wall stud there just off centre, instead of using cavity wall fixings I can now go straight into a wall stud. And obviously if the wall's playing up, I've got in and out adjustment.
Okay.
So I can make sure my front, which is what we're actually trying to fit, the front
Yeah.
edge is perfectly square.
Of course.
That's always come with a cost incentive because they're only a small independent company, there's no scale yet, so they're even more expensive than L brackets. So in the last
But instead
couple
of
of
a
weeks,
fitter doing 2 L brackets, you'd fit one orange thing in the cabinet and it gives you a true fit and easier. So Rem put one of those
in every unit.
in every unit.
Right.
So what we've just discovered, or what we've now invented, is if the manufacturer doesn't put those bits of wood on the back of the cabinet, i.e. he makes a flat back unit like this one, those fins don't protrude. When we come to fit a kitchen and there's all pipes on the wall or the wall is wobbly, we have great big lumps out to go around the pipes. So the back of most people's kitchens is something like that as it goes around the pipes. So actually, if you just don't supply those bits of wood and you supply it the same size, you can recreate exactly the same thing with just 2 little dental heads. 2 grams over half a kilo of material.
All right.
So on a kitchen, that little pile on the table represents just one kitchen.
So you saved that with that.
Like it.
And you're
But-
in exactly the same situation.
And you don't have to scribe the ends. So a fitter would have to cut and scribe that.
All round these pipes all
Yeah,
the
so
time.
saving time, money and wood.
Time, money and wood, exactly.
If it runs
So it's a
out
no-brainer.
at all, can you
It's what you
trim
call a
that down?
no-brainer.
Exactly. Can you trim that down?
The plastic
if it
thing?
runs out, yeah.
No, because
Yeah,
it's
yeah, you could just snip it off or you could just cut it out. Yeah, it may be that it wants to pull in tighter to the wall. The
Yeah.
point is that this is just a measuring stick.
Yeah.
This is not actually about giving you any sort of a fixing. All the fixing comes from
Is
the
that-
space plug.
Yeah, because this is located it.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you, like you say, sometimes the end panels need to be shortened, sometimes the end panels don't touch the wall.
Yeah.
That's exactly the same with the datum peg. That's why we're saying the datum peg is just from front to back. This wall will always meander.
Right.
Our datum line is the front. That's where all your cupboards need to meet and that's where all the doors need to look perfect. So when we're fitting a kitchen, our datum is the front edge, not this back wall, because it doesn't matter how flat this back wall is, it's always meandering somehow. And
Yeah.
some of them in old buildings obviously meander terribly. So the truth is our datum has always been the front, but our datum peg comes in because it describes the distance of the cabinet as
Yeah.
being exactly the same as it used to be. So you're in exactly the same situation as when you started, when you used to fit a cabinet like that.
Well, what does the pattern say on that one?
So it's fixing a piece of furniture. So it's any furniture. It could be office furniture,
Yeah.
it could be bedroom
Yeah.
furniture, it can be anything.
Yeah.
But it's the means to fix a piece of furniture with the combination of a fixed base spacer and an adjustable spacer.
Just show my TikTok of the guy fitting the bedroom cabinet so you can see it in practical, just a spacer.
Have a look.
So there, it's an awkward little gap. We'd usually have to cut lots of little bits of wood and then put a couple of plastic packers in it or something like that. With that, you've just got instant adjustment. It's absolutely solid, screws it in, job done.
Oh wow.
Neat, tidy.
Mega.
Interesting. Interesting.
Very good. TikTok.